Good evening and welcome dear viewers of Channel 2 of KTV2 in your daily program, which covers all the events and activities such as social, art, technical, medical, cultural, sports and political. And it hosts a lot of artists, athletes, doctors, engineers and intellect viewers with Dr. Ruchira. Hello and welcome to our show for tonight.
Hello. So I'm honored to be here with you today.
Yes, it's just a pleasure to have you here, especially that you're a dermatologist and you work in Apollo. And would you like to tell us some of the things that we should use to stay youthful?
Yeah, the people are more and more trying to stay youthful all the time. This is because of the increasing job demands and as well as to maintain a youthful appearance overall. And for that we need to take regular care of the skin. So there is no compromise in the daily skin care.
Yes,
though
definitely.
we have a lot of procedures now which give instant results, but they should be complementary to the daily skin care and not against it.
And what should we do on daily basis? Because I could see that you have beautiful skin. So can you tell us on daily basis what should we use and what are some of the things we shouldn't use? And then we could maybe talk more about the techniques and procedures that you have.
Sure, I would like to do that. And first of all, we need to have a daily regime of skin care. I think the most important time the skin gets to rejuvenate is during sleep. Okay. So before sleep, we should be very thorough with cleaning our makeup and putting a nice night cream according to the skin type. There's also a big role of sun protection, especially because of the sunny weather of Kuwait. We need to be very thorough with the sun protection of our skin, and we need a high SPF factor here, at least 30 or more, preferably more than 50. And we should reapply it frequently. Like if you are going to work, you can apply it in the morning. When you start back home, you must reapply it. There's another there's a misconception that if you are inside the car or inside the house, you need not apply a sunscreen. I think you need to apply a sunscreen on all your waking hours, because the rays UVA rays especially, they can travel from the glass window of the car as well as your office, and this it can have a damaging effect on your skin. More than that, you need to exfoliate your skin regularly to remove the dead skin.
And how can we do that?
There are various scrubs, and alpha hydroxy acids are a very good means of regular scrubbing. So you can remove the dead cells with that and moisturize your skin as much as possible.
And what about the mornings? Because you talked about the night before you sleep. What about the morning? Do you do the same routine, or is it just the sunblock, as you said, using moisturizer and sunblock?
Yeah, a good face wash, a moisturizer and a sunblock. If you need to apply makeup, keep it light and keep it apply it over the sunblock.
Okay, that's interesting, because a lot of people would miss maybe one of the steps or avoid something or just apply their makeup on directly without having all those different steps. So what about the different procedures that you have? I believe you want to talk to us more about Botox. What is the age for Botox, and what are some of the wrinkles that it would prevent and wouldn't, because it's too deep, and you could tell us more about it.
Yeah. So see, the wrinkles can appear very early as 20s or 30s. So Botox prevents the appearance and corrects dynamic wrinkles. There are two types of wrinkles. One is the static wrinkles, which remain even when the face is at rest.
Okay.
Dynamic wrinkles, they form when the muscle is moving, like when you are frowning or smiling. So these are the wrinkles that can be corrected with Botox.
Yes, and what about the different type of Botox, or is it just one
We
type?
use botulinum toxin type A, that is used generally, though many companies make it. The original one is from Allergan, which is the most trusted brand, and also Dysport. These two are used. These can be used at any age, like whenever you start getting wrinkles, you must start using. People wait for the wrinkles to set in permanently, and that's a little too late for the Botox to give a full correction.
I was about to ask you about that because
Yeah.
one of my friends, she's in her early 20s and she started to get her own Botox right now for her forehead. But is it okay to start at that really young age, or you think they should wait a bit, maybe in their late 20s or early 30s?
Yeah, this is still a matter which is subject to debate. Some people say they can start early, like after 18, no ages bar. Some prefer to wait after 25. But certainly in your after 30s, you are a good candidate for Botox if you have any amount of wrinkles.
Interesting. And what are some of the areas that you could correct? Maybe the laughing lines or the forehead. So what are the places that are targeted most, and how can you fix them?
So Botox is most effective in the upper part of the face.
Upper, okay.
Yeah, it can correct the frown lines almost completely, the forehead lines, the crow's feet. So this area of the face can give very satisfying results with Botox. Whereas on the lower part of the face, you need to combine it with other treatments. Like for the nasolabial folds that you mentioned, alone Botox will not help much. Moreover, it's risky because it has to be used very precisely in the muscle and also in a small quantity. You have to complement it with other treatments, like you can put fillers in the area, you can use PRP, you can have other rejuvenating treatments.
Yeah.
For the older age group, Botox can give some results in the lines that appear on the upper lip. Its fancy name is the barcode wrinkles, so that you get around and which makes your lipstick leak. So these can be corrected to a certain extent with the Botox. One of the newer uses of Botox is Nefertiti, or the lift in the jawline. So, but you have to be very selective because if you have a lot of fat, then Botox will not help. If your muscles are sagging, then only Botox will give you a lift in this area.
Yes, and you talked about fillers and PRP. Can you tell us more about them and how you'd use them?
Fillers are very popular. Fillers can be either temporary or permanent. So mostly hyaluronic acid is a temporary filler, which is the most popular. There are others which are in the semi-permanent block, like Radius or Sculptra. So these are also used, but overall the safest and the most popular is hyaluronic acid, and you can use it everywhere. For the younger girls, the most popular use is for lip augmentation, for the plumping of the lip, and it can be used to correct your nasolabial folds, under the eyes, overall a global lifting and filling effect of the face.
Yes, you said under eyes. Does it clear out the black circles under the eyes, or it just give it the unpoofiness? Because normally when you wake up, you have poofiness under your eyes.
Yeah, so the puffiness can also be because of drainage problems. So for that, eye massage and then other machines which drain out the lymph, they help. Some tightening treatments help with that. But yes, fillers do to a certain extent help in rejuvenating and restoring the beauty of this area. But it can be combined with other modalities.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what about the different types that you talked about? About the under eyes. Like you said, you could combine it like fillers with something else. What are some of the different things?
Yeah, we use tightening treatments. So there are machines for lifting and tightening which use infrared technology, or they can be with the radio frequency or with the focused ultrasound or HIFU, which is the newer one. So all these areas give rejuvenation to the area, to the under eye. Blepharoplasty is also very popular in this area, and blepharoplasty does give very good results if done properly.
And how long can it last? Because you said there is permanent and non-permanent, and even for the Botox, how long would it last?
Botox, generally it lasts somewhere between 4 to 6 months. So after 6 months, you need to redo it. With repeated sessions, sometimes you can extend the effect to up to 9 months or a year also sometimes. Fillers depend on the thickness of the filler that you use. If you use a thick filler, then it stays longer generally. I mean in a layman kind of a language, it depends on the cross-linking. So if the cross-linking is more, then it's likely to last longer.
Yes. And what about some people? I know they have this skin. Their skin, normally their pores are open, and you could see it, and it's not nice sometimes for the eyes. What could they do? What type of procedure would you recommend or advise them to use?
Yeah, the pores, they actually increase with age and with sun exposure. Okay. So prevention involves good sun protection again. And to improve them, we can use some exfoliating procedures or tightening procedures, like we can do crystal peelings, or we can use infrared lasers, or we can use radio frequency devices. All these help in tightening the pores.
Yes, and what about the different types of lasers that you'd use in the clinic? What could you use them for, and what are some of the things, like the different types we'd see?
The most common and popular use of lasers is for hair removal.
Yes.
Yeah, and for those, we can use either YAG, ND-YAG laser, which is more for thicker hair, and for even it can be used for the darker skin types. Whereas Alexandrite laser, it works even on fine hair, and it's also can be used to a certain extent on up to the what we call the skin type 4 or 5, but not on very dark skin. There is another diode laser, which can also be used very safely on most of the skin types.
And how many sessions would you need to remove the total hair?
Yeah, see, we never remove totally the hair, so we reduce it. It's called permanent hair reduction. There can be some scanty regrowth, but the results are generally very satisfying. On an average, you can expect about 70% reduction of hair in 5 to 7 sessions. But this can vary to a great extent depending on the hormonal status of the person, and among other things, heredity.
Yes, and I believe this problem, acne, is a problem to a lot of teenagers and even older people and adults. We actually see that.
That's right.
So can you tell us, how could we avoid that? How can we treat it? How can we cure it?
Yeah. So one of the things is that acne is, though it is seen more in teenagers, it is not a teenage problem. It can pester people as late as their 40s or 50s. And acne affect women more commonly, but they are more severe in men. So I think one of the simplest ways to prevent acne is to use a regular face wash which suits your skin type. It need not be very harsh or drying, but it should be used regularly, twice in a day. And then we have certain creams to maintain. If you get a acute breakout, oral antibiotics are very useful. And if you have really deep acne, then Roaccutane can be used for most patients safely.
Yes. This pill, I know everyone is using it, and it's a very strong one. Is it, as you said, safe enough? And what are some of the ages that should avoid it and maybe use it? Because it's really strong.
It should be avoided in growing age, but once you have attained your maturity, it can be used safely. It is used in other indications even for younger people, even for children, for some indications. A drug closely related to Roaccutane. But then it's a like risk-benefit ratio. You have to weigh what are the risks and how much benefit the person is getting. So for acne, I think after attaining maturity, you can use it. And you have to use it under medical supervision. You have to undergo skin tests initially before starting the treatment. It can temporarily cause a rise in your cholesterol levels or liver enzymes, or it can affect your blood counts. But generally, these effects are temporary and reversible. What you face, practically, is a very dry skin after you start using Roaccutane, and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, and how can you deal with that?
You have to moisturize it as frequently as possible. use milder face washes. You can shift to the non-damaging, non-soapy kinds, and use sun protection. That's very, very important. We generally recommend not to do any physical procedures like peelings. These should be avoided totally during the treatment of Roaccutane.
So thank you so much for being here today, and you taught us a lot of useful information about the skin and how to protect it every